it's time for the Chris Allen Podcast, the Ask the Angry Ninja Show. So here we go.
Hey there, my name is Megan Foote, owner of North Star Boudoir Photography, serving Louisville and surrounding counties. We offer a premier boudoir experience at a price point you deserve. Our sessions include a 45-minute pampering, which entails hair and makeup services, as well as food and drinks, and access to a full client closet. And of course, 45 minutes of posing and shooting for fabulous photos that will leave you feeling empowered. Our packages range from $220 to $300. To schedule with us, you can check out our Facebook or Instagram accounts at North Star Boudoir, as well as call or text 502-689-0015. We'd love to have you and help you see the beautiful that you are. Also, if you book with us, please make sure you mention Chris Allen Podcast for a discount.
All right, guys, it's time for the Angry Ninja Show. What? Okay, so I said we're going to do a movie review in the next show, and guess what we're going to do in the movie review? We're going to talk about the new movie, The Flash. Woohoo! Ezra Miller as The Flash. Woohoo! Wrong button. Right button that time. All right, so let's talk about The Flash. Oh, warning, at the beginning of all movie reviews, if you don't want the movie spoiled, fuck off and listen to something else, because I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie. I mean, I can see how much I like the movie, but that's not really how I work. So, yeah, I'm going to spoil the shit out of the movie. So, everybody prepared. This is your moment. If you haven't seen it, and you want to watch it clean, don't listen to the show now. Go watch it and come back and listen to the show and see if you agree with me. But, time to spoil the shit out of the movie. So, Ezra Miller version of The Flash, first of all, I find very annoying. His character, and it's not him as the actor, because he's literally acting what they tell him to act, is a very annoying character. They do that on purpose, and it's even part of the movie where he meets his younger self and he finally realizes how annoying he is. But I'm over that. I'm kind of actually happy that this version of The Flash is coming to an end because of that. This version of The Flash is just childish, stupid, and not the Flash I enjoy. The Grant Gustin Flash on TV shows, much better version of the Flash. And I must keep saying version of the Flash because the problem with this character isn't the actor, it's the way it's written, where he's a whining, crying, fast talking. It's just annoying. That being said, the movie itself was awesome. Of course, it's The Flash. It's about him going back in time. It's about him messing with the timeline because apparently that's the only thing any Flash character can do that's of any interest. It's kind of a play on the Flashpoint. They didn't really get into it and do a whole Flashpoint thing, but it was kind of a play on the Flashpoint storyline, which was decent. So he goes back in time because he wants to save his mom's life. He saves her life, alters the timeline. On his way back through time, he's running back to the future at some random point. This thing runs up and punches him out of the stream. So he ends up at a random point in time. He doesn't know when it is, but he goes to his family's house, and he knows his mom is going to be there because he saved her. And he goes in there. Of course, his mom's there. And they have this big, sweet moment. And that's pretty good. And he finds out in this, he's kicked out like when he was a freshman in college. And the current version of himself, the version of him in that timeline, is there. And he's even more annoying than the current version of the Flash with his long hair and stupidness. And he doesn't have powers yet. And you get in the whole, oh no, this is the day I would have had powers, so we need to go to this place that I would have been if my mom hadn't died, but since my mom didn't die, you don't even work there. And they get him there, and he gives him powers, but in the process, he loses his powers, and it gets complicated. And that's when they decide, oh no, what could I do? I didn't get powers. Well, maybe you could take me back to time. And that's when the twist of the movie, wasn't really expecting this. I mean, I kind of knew from the previews, but I didn't realize how they were going to do it. General Zod shows up. It's the day that General Zod appears. Which, okay. I get, a lot's going on, and I think about it a lot. But when Zod shows up, this new the original guy who played the Flash, like the original dude, it's two different timelines. So said he couldn't do anything that day because he had just gotten his powers, but he acts so shocked that Zod showed up that day after the younger version of him got powers. I'm like, dude, so you're telling me one day you got powers, and then the very next day Zod showed up, and you didn't think that was going to happen after you changed? Really? Come on, man. You're killing me with that. Anyway, Zod shows up, but this time, no Superman shows up. You remember the Man of Steel movie? When Zod showed up, Superman showed up right away and started fighting him. No Superman shows up. There is no Superman. So he's like, oh no, nobody's here to stop Zod. What are we going to do? And he's like, okay, well, we need to go get Batman. So him and the new version, or the young version, go to the Wayne Manor, and it is run down. It's all messed up. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat. And then they go into a room, and of course, I knew it was the Michael Keaton Batman. It's been in the previews. I've been excited about this. I'm thoroughly convinced they actually found the 1989 movie sets, or the stuff from the 1989 movie, and used that, because they go into the weapons room. The famous scene where the guy was making fun of the guy with the mask and the samurai suit, and they're the one in the room is all covered in spider webs, cobwebs, and the young version of the Flash is like, this is like the coolest room ever. And then they go into the kitchen, and Michael Keaton comes out, but you can't tell it's Michael Keaton because he has long gray hair, big old long beard, and Michael Keaton commences to whooping their asses. Well, not the younger one with the Flash powers, but the other one, who lost his powers, kicks his ass. And then they find out he is Michael Keaton, and they have this whole big diatribe where Michael Keaton explains to him how time really works, and even brings up the multiverse and spaghetti, and it's a very explanatory part. And then they go into the Batcave. Michael Keaton's like, I'm not helping you. I'm not Batman anymore. I'm old. I'm done. And so the two Ezra Millers, the two Flashes, two Barry Allens, wherever you want to say, go down the Batcave, and the young guys just flipping out. It's like, oh my God, here's the Batmobile. Oh my God, there's this, all this cool stuff. And they get through all that, and they're looking for Clark Kent, and they cannot find Clark Kent. They can't find Superman. And of course, Michael Keaton helps them. Eventually, shaves, gets the stuff all together, and they find that a Kryptonian was captured by Russia, and he's in a Russian dark prison. So they get all the way to Russia. They free him, but they get in there. It's not Clark Kent. It's a girl. And they don't know if it's a Kryptonian or not. They just know Russia's got this girl in this weird cage. So they save her, get her in the sunlight, get her out, and then the Russians surround them. And it looks like they're pretty much done. And the sun shines on the girl, and she fills in because, Kryptonians are solar powered. And she gets up and kills all the Russians. There was no niceness. It was epic. It was great. It's exactly what I want from this kind of movie. Like, yes, these guys deserved it. I killed them, please. So she kills them all. And then they go back to the Wayne Manor. Oh, yeah, they take the Batwing. By the way, the Batwing. And it looks like the original Batwing, but it has upgraded abilities. And it was just awesome. Anyway, so they go back to the Wayne Manor. And she's like, humans suck. I'm not helping you. Like, I don't care about you humans. And she flies off. She gets on her super suit and flies off. And you're thinking, okay, she's going to go join Zod. That's going to make this way harder. And they fly back. She flies off. And then she sees Zod attack a bunch of peaceful. Well, I mean, it was the army. But it was a peaceful moment. And like, you did not return the Kryptonian. So Zod attacks, starts killing them. And the war starts. And she sees all these humans dying. And she, like, gets sad because she's not an evil person. She was just pissed because she got locked up in a Russian prison. So she goes back to Wayman and she's like, yay, all right, I'll help you guys. And yay, the Flash is like, well, I need my powers. Well, this is actually right before she came back. I need my powers, Bruce. Help me out. Cover me in chemicals and electrocute me. And literally that's what they did. They had like electric chair. They put up, I'm not even kidding. It's one of the reasons I love Batman so much is because he's so dedicated to the theme. They put a kite in the air that is a bat symbol hooked to a metal rod, and they're doing it during a storm so lightning will strike, and they cover Barry Allen with chemicals and electrocute him, and he just gets burnt a whole lot and is there and he's all effed up looking. And then that's when Supergirl comes back in and goes, "Oh, and Barry Allen's like, man, turn it on, zap me again. I gotta get my powers back." And Bruce Wayne's like, "I can't. It's fried. It got hit by a lightning bolt." So he's like, Supergirl's like, "I got you." She flies him into the sky, and he gets up with another lightning bolt, and she comes back down, and he's literally just sizzling at this point. Steam's coming off from the water's just sizzling. I'm like, and it doesn't look like he got his powers back. And then the young version of Barry Allen runs up and holds his hand, and a little bit of lightning bolt comes from his hand on him. And suddenly, he starts to get power, and he heals, and it's all better. Now we have 2 Flashes. And they've decided that now they're just going to go fight Zod, which is cool. So you get Supergirl, you get Michael Keaton Batman in the Batwing, and you get the 2 Flashes fighting Zod and his army. And they're doing okay. But we ended up to the point of the movie. One of the big points in the movie. There's something Barry Allen needed to learn. At one point in the movie, or in that big fight scene, Zod wins. Zod kills Supergirl, harvests her blood because her blood contained the DNA of all of the Kryptonians, so they could, regrow the human or Kryptonian race. Zod's whole goal. And Batman's ship Batwing gets hit, and it's going to go down. And in true awesomeness, he goes, "If I'm going down, I'm taking the biggest ship with me." So he tries to fly into the biggest ship, and big ship's force field protected, so Batman dies for nothing, and Supergirl's dead. So the 2 Flashes are like, okay, we can fix this. So they get into a time bubble and go back in time, just a couple minutes, no big deal, and hop back out and try to save it. And they tell Bruce, "Hey, look, the ship's got a force field. Don't fly into it." He's okay. He pulls out, and the Flash tries to help Supergirl win her fight. Okay, and all this happens, and then Batman comes out, and he's fighting one of the big Kryptonians because, hey, he's got to do something. He fights in a really cool manner. He jumps on him, puts a bomb, jumps off him, bomb blows, jumps on another way, puts a bomb. Of course, it doesn't kill him because he's a Kryptonian. And he ends up killing that version of Bruce Wayne, and he kind of dies in the older Flash's arms. And the Flash goes, "This is one of those inevitable points in time. This is a fixed point." If you watch Doctor Who, it's a theme in Doctor Who. This is a fixed point in time. We can't change this. You have to die. Supergirl has to die. This world is going to end. There's no stopping that. It's a fixed point. We can't change it. And so they go back. The 2 Flashes go back in the time bubble because the younger version of the Flash is like, "No, we can fix this." And he actually has a big piece of one of the ships in his arm. And the older version of the Flash is like, "No, this is a fixed point in time. We can't fix this." And then the younger Flash takes off into again, tries something else, and comes back, and he has more pieces of metal stuck in him, and he's hurt more. But he's like, "Aren't you going to help me? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this. Everybody can live." And he runs off again and keeps doing it, and keeps running back, change time, running back, change time, running back, change time. And he comes back this last time, and he is all metal's coming off of his stick, and he's hurt. And then you start to see, this is the scene. Like, I get goosebumps even thinking about this scene that made this movie for me. It was amazing. They show the time bubble they're in of this moment in time starting to rip open, and these other spears of time, multiverse basically, trying to crash into each other. And they show... First, they show the Henry Cavill Superman, and then it flashed. Another one of the worlds opens up, and it shows the Christopher Reeve Superman with Helen Slater as Supergirl, and it's CG, it's the AI whatever, but it was just seeing Christopher Reeve looking young in that Superman suit. I was just like, okay, that's epic. There's another one, you just hear the Joker laugh, but they don't show Batman. And then you see the black and white Superman, and then you see the classic Flash, the Golden Age era Flash with the helmet running through one, and then another universe opens up, and oh my God, ode to Kevin Smith in this moment. Like, they show the scene that Kevin Smith has talked about, the director wrote in the movie, that he wrote in the movie. before Tim Burton took it over. They show the Nicolas Cage Superman with the long hair in that blue suit that was supposed to end up being in the movie, fighting the giant spider. I mean, it was just a great moment for Kevin Smith, a great moment for honestly, I don't think Nicolas Cage involved again in CG, whatever. But they show all these different universes and they're crashing each other, and they have little clips of each one of them, like all the past Supermans, all the past coming together, and the Flash was looking at it like, we can't fix this. Look what we're doing, and then that creature, thing, whatever, which if you watch the TV show The Flash, kind of looks a little bit like Savitar, and I actually thought this when I first saw it. That looked a lot like Savitar. But at the same time, I'm like, well, maybe it's one of those time, because in the TV show The Flash, anytime you mess with time, there's these demons, things that kind of show up to punish him for messing with time. So I thought it was maybe one of those, but it kind of looked like Savitar a little bit. Well, this thing runs back in, and he's like, I'm going to save everyone. And all I have to do is defeat you, and then I can save everyone. And then they're fighting, and he gets hit in the face, and a bunch of that metal dirt stuff falls off, and you see it's an older version of the Flash, which if you follow the TV show, the comic, Savitar was a remnant of a Flash from him fucking with time. And what it is, it's the younger Flash that keeps running through time, and every time getting more hurt, trying to save that moment, has been doing this for years and years and years and years in time, and has grown up, become that, and that's why he's all effed up looking now, because he's been hurt so many times. And yeah, it's cool. And Ezra Miller's like, I have to defeat you in order to fix this. I need to go back in time again and let my mom die. Right? Pretty heavy stuff. And so that's what he does. Well, he's kind of fighting them, and then the younger version of the Flash actually jumps in front of the older version of the Flash. I would say the middle-aged version of the Flash, as the oldest crazy one jumps and ends up stabbing the younger version in the back. And that kind of makes them two disappear. So then it's just the younger, or the original normal version of the Flash. Talk about time travel movies. It's such a pain in the ass. Just so y'all know. Is there by himself. Then he goes, all right, I have to go back in time and fix this. And oh yeah, it was all over some tomatoes, whatever. You'll see. So he runs back into the mom of the grocery store. He sees the other version of himself put the can of tomatoes in the shopping cart. He's like, okay. So he stands there. He normal, he's wearing a hat and glasses, and he has this moment with his mom, who doesn't know it's his mom, because this is, he's old, and makes her out to be the sweetest, most wonderful person in the world, because like he's trying to talk to her and he's crying a little bit sad, and she's like, I don't even know you, but you look like you need a hug. So he gets that hug from his mom, even though she doesn't know, and he gets that really special moment with her, and then he speeds himself up, leaves her standing, goes in the cart, pulls out the shopping cart, pulls out the can of tomatoes, and he knows if he pulls this, it's going to lead to her death. You guys can watch that in the movie. Not getting into that. But it has a reason. And so, and he gets back, and she gives him a hug and tells him, be good and be a good person, and he leaves. And then she dies. And he still changes the timeline a little bit, because one of his father's alibi for not being the person who killed his mom, because he's in prison for killing his mom, is that he had to go back to the store to buy this can of tomatoes she forgot. So he puts it in a different spot on the shelf. So he looks up and sees the security camera, and they use that security camera feature in the new future. Right, the new future. Because that doesn't alter the past too much, so he thinks he can get away with it. And he frees his dad. His dad gets out of prison. Now, I say that because at the beginning of this movie, Ben Affleck was Batman. He goes back in time, saves his mom's life by giving her a can of tomatoes, so his dad never had to leave. And Michael Keaton becomes Batman. Okay. He goes back into the time, back to normal, after making that one little change, thinking they won't make no difference. And so far, everything's the same. And then after the trial, he's talking to Bruce Wayne on the phone. Bruce Wayne's like, well, I'm going to pull up, and we'll just talk. And Bruce Wayne pulls up, and he gets out of the car, and he gets through the reporters. And the only part of the movie that hurt me, this part hurt me. it's George Clooney as Bruce Wayne, as the new Batman in these movies. I never, ever, ever on any planet, in any universe, ever, even as a cameo, for a minute, ever, in any way, shape, or form, ever want to see George Clooney as Bruce Wayne or Batman, ever again. That was the worst Batman movie ever made. And I'm even including the cheesy, campy, because it was supposed to be a 1966 Batman movie. George Clooney was horrible as Batman. Alicia Silverstone was horrible as Batgirl. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze was horrible. And they had to call back that movie and bring back George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. This is the only part of the movie that made my soul cringe. Never, never, and never. Let's never see that again. Let's never do that again. Let's never hint at that ever happened. Let's forget about that movie. Let's go back in time and control delete that. That movie makes me drink tequila. If that movie's on and I catch a glimpse of it, I have to drink a whole bottle of tequila to reset my brain so I can forget about it again. That movie was horrible and bad, and we never, never need to speak of it again. But other than that, Flash movie was really good. That one thing got me. And of course, this movie was him going back in time and coming back and making the change, was apparently now part of the James Gunn plan to reset the DC universe and start all over again for like the millionth time. Hopefully he does a better job. There was a preview at this theater for the new Blue Beetle movie, which I'm like, I love comic books. I know the Blue Beetle, this movie is going to be good, but I'm the only person who's going to like this movie. But I was actually surprised by the reaction in the theater, which was not full, by the way. Nobody's gone and seen The Flash because everybody's apparently pissed at Ezra Miller. Forget that. I don't like him either as a person. The shit he's done is horrible. This is a great movie, and we need to support this movie so we get more Michael Keaton Batman movies. Because they're talking about making some other ones because the whole multiverse thing. So we really need to support this movie. But little kids' reactions to the Blue Beetle. And I don't even know if they know who he was. I know my kid knows who he was, so my kid was actually super excited. But the powers would have the screen, the blue dude with the wings and stuff, making a giant sword to fight with out of nothing, because that's what the Blue Beetle does. Like, the children's reactions was really good. So I think they put enough previews for this movie on the right shows, like Disney shows and stuff like that. The movie's going to do really well. I don't know if Disney will let them advertise since it's an alternative comic book universe, whatever, but I'm sure Disney will take a check from anybody. Lord knows I would. Anyway, what I'm saying, Flash movie, I would have given it probably 4.5 Ninja Stars out of 5. But they threw the George Clooney cameo in, so I was going to lose them a half a star. So we're going to go 4 Ninja Stars out of 5. Highly recommend this movie. If nothing else, just for that scene in the end where they're bringing all the Supermans and Batman universes together. It is great. I wish they had done more Flashpoint stuff. They really didn't do a Flashpoint. They did this one alternate universe. And in Flashpoint, in the comics where they kind of took this from, there was several different universes. And he kind of touched on a couple of them. And I've said it before, I say it again, the Thomas Wayne Batman with Martha Wayne as the Joker. Want to see that in a fucking movie. I want to see Batman with guns, not just guns in his car. The motherfucker was carrying some Desert Eagles in a movie. And I want Jeffrey Dean Morgan to play that version of Batman. Please make that happen. James Gunn, I'm talking to you. Make that happen. Alright, guys. That is the show. In tradition of old stuff, that I'm trying to bring some more of the old stuff back, I am going to hit you guys with a horrible joke. How do you flex on a billionaire? You just breathe. Alright, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. Alright, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show wherever you're listening to this show. If you're listening to the Chris Allen Show, awesome. If you're listening to the Jason E. Jones Show, even better. We look forward to bringing you more contact. If you want to help us out with that, you can hit us up at www.patreon.com/worstjokes and help fund the show. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at cman234 at Twitter. Twitter, at CMean234 at Twitter. You can find on Facebook, the Chris Allen Podcast. You can find Jason on Facebook, the Jason E. Jones Podcast. You can also find him on Twitter, too. Just search for the Jason E. Jones Podcast, and you'll find him. We're all there. We're all here for you. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to an email at asktheangryninja@gmail.com. You want to be on the show, reach out, hit us up. We'll get you on the show, interview. You want to come tell a joke, tell a joke. We're all here. If you have an outrageous story, I'd love to hear it. We'll put that up too. So just let us know. And if you have anything you want to hear, let us know. Twitter's the best way just to let you know. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye.